medical team.
He was also a medical doctor?
Yeah, he's also a medical doctor. He's the CEO of Arium Clinic, Arium Hospital. The branches are all over Kumasi.
Would you say because he was a member of the party, it made it easier for you to join, or you also did your own assessment and felt that the MPP should be the party to join?
Oh, I felt MPP was the right party because ever since growing up, I realized that MPP is a party that always thinks about the people. They are the ones who really bring about big reforms, always contribute to the welfare of the party, of the country. If you take, for instance, the National Health Insurance Scheme they brought, it's still working. It was a monumental and life-transforming let me put it this way. It was huge, and it's still saving the lives of many. So I think it's something that they thought about thoroughly for their people. So based on that and others, like the Metro Mass system that also thinks about the people, making transportation easier and more affordable to the masses of this country. So I think MPP has the people at heart.
The MPP have been in office for a little over 7 years now. Have they met your expectation? Have they performed up to your expectation?
I would say yes, but I also think there's room for improvement. As human beings, no one is perfect. We have our ups and downs. But I think, in general, if you look at the amount of roads the MPP has constructed since 8 years ago, or 7 years ago for that matter, I think it's very recommendable, to say the least.
Let me remind our listeners that we are streaming live on YouTube, Orange 107.9. So you can join us on YouTube, especially if you are interested in knowing Dr. Francis Nana Yaw Boakye, someone who is seeking to become the parliamentary candidate of the MPP and hopefully represent the constituency in parliament. You can join us on Facebook, and if you have questions, on YouTube, if you have questions, you can send your questions, and of course we're going to be asking him so that he'll provide an answer for you. Let's now talk about you. I mean, generally people say, if you listen to people, some people, they seem to be a bit disappointed in politicians. The narrative out there is that politicians are self-serving. They are interested in their parochial interest, so to speak. They are not in there to help the people. Especially if you now speak to intelligentsia, a community I can say you belong to, medical doctors, they say, oh, as for politics, no, I don't, I mean, it's too, why did you then decide to join politics? Knowing the narrative about politicians and the nature of politics we do, why are you deciding to, join this particular endeavor?
Let me start by saying it's true. That's the general perception about politicians, what you're just saying. And as you also said, I'm a medical doctor by profession. So part of my people don't really fancy going into politics, mainly because they feel it's dirty, it's people would insult your integrity, your being as a human being. But then again, some of these great philosophies once said, the only way for evil to triumph is for good to sit down and do nothing. In our language, they will tell you, akwa a friend is saying, Okandini Ankwa Akwejane. With all these things, it points to one thing. Sometimes you have to involve yourself to get things done the best way. You can't run away from it. Personally, I could have had the opportunity to travel outside the country to further my goals and aspirations and stuff. But then again, I realized that when you go outside the country, you definitely come back to Ghana. It's the home we all have. So when most of our colleagues go out of the country and they come back, they'll say, oh, Ghana Bibi Anye Juma, Ghana Bibi Anye Juma. Meaning that things don't really work in the country. But they forget that we are the country. If we don't decide to get our hands dirty to get it fixed, who will?
But people say when you are outside, these are some of the things you say. But some people with this same mindset have joined politics. But the conclusion is that the system has a way of reforming you to be in sync with how politics ought to be played in our country. And that you can, outside of politics, you can say all of these nice things, but you join and you realize that no, the reality is much more serious, and that a single person cannot do anything to change the circumstance.
It's a thought, but then again, you and I both know that at the end of the day, even twins, given the same set of upbringing, can act differently. As human beings, we all have the way we think and react towards what happens to us. I personally, I believe I'm a strong-willed person. I believe in my principles and my values very strongly. And I think I always thank God for the parents I had, because they've instilled in me certain things that guide me even in their absence. Fortunately, they are both with me, so I still have that luxury and comfort that knowing that someone has my back. But then again, I was made to understand, because I'm the firstborn, I was made to understand that, oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I was made to understand that sometimes if you want to get things done, as the saying goes, Osma Onemojo, but Utinimude and meaning that when you send a child, you have the luxury of relaxing your legs, but as to whether the child will do the best thing that you require from him is questionable.
Let's now come to Asokwa. Is it your view that Asokwa has not been properly represented in Parliament, or you think you can do a better job?
Patricia Page, Honorable Patricia Page, for that matter, is my mom. Basically, she's my mom's colleague. They went to the university together. So basically, she's also my mom. I wouldn't say Asokwa hasn't been presented well, but as I say, there's always room for improvement.
Let's talk about the room that we can improve, room for improvement. Okay. Where do you think we can improve?
Personally, I feel when you are a parliamentarian, you represent your people. One of the basic things is you have to be in touch with the constituents. You are their mouthpiece. You represent them in Parliament. You are supposed to transmit what they say to Parliament. Once that fails, that means the constituents, or the people of the constituency for that matter, are going to feel left out. They are going to feel abandoned. Whatever the reason one might have, it's a basic concept. My mom, basically, Patricia Peje, personally, I feel she could have done better in engaging her people,
That is the
the
constituent.
constituents.
Engaging us in constant interaction,
Constant
meeting their
interactions,
demands.
not meeting their demands,
Okay, just engaging them.
engaging them. Sometimes even you meeting them, going to the market sometimes to even purchase certain things.
You think she doesn't do that enough?
Let me put it this way. Personally, I feel I'm not going to be the one to teach her what to do. So let me just say what I have done to improve myself.
We'll come
And
to
then-
that. But you just told me that in terms of representing Asokwa,
Yes.
there's room for improvement. And I'm seeking to know which areas you think can be improved.
The areas that can be improved are the areas of employment. For instance, if you take Asokwa as a constituency, we are blessed with so many companies around. Indirectly, people would refer to it as the industrial hub of Kumasi, or the Ashanti region for that matter. Personally, I feel that with proper communication with some of these companies, the heads of these companies, it could have improved their outputs. This is let me try and break it down for you. What I mean is, these companies, from where I stand and from what I've heard, I'm not going to put everything out here, but from what the little I know, some of them are in need of certain supports that as a member of parliament, you could have engaged them, got to know what their problems were, and then once you get to know their problems, enhanced their output. If you, for instance, assuming, without admitting, that maybe Kwanzaa, which is within the Asokwa Constituency, has a very huge tax debt or tax burden, but they're finding it difficult to, let's say, handle. As a member of parliament, I'm sure when you sit down with them, and maybe at the same time, they are also trying to maybe purchase a few more equipment, heavy duty equipment, that would also enhance their job. So for instance, if you sit down with them and they tell you, oh, maybe we can't pay that amount of money within this year, but we would want you, or let's say at the beginning of the year, but maybe we want maybe about a 12 months break. If you could do that for us, we promise to maybe pay the debt in installments to the government. If you and the government sit down and say, oh, with all due respect, government, it is true these people owe you this much, but instead of the bulk amount, could it be arranged for that debt to be restructured? As for forgiving the debt is between government and them. But in the worst case scenario, they could restructure the debt. But sometimes it might be, I can't say too much about that. But the worst case scenario, it could be restructured to at least allow some flexibility. And by so doing, they would have maybe the necessary funds to buy extra equipment, or even build maybe an extra facility to employ people. If they do so, the narrative is that assuming that you're able to grant them that amnesty, that tax amnesty for the restructuring, or even if government decides to make it a bad debt, just in case. What it means is that they're going to have the capacity to expand and improve upon their services. By so doing, they'll be able to take about, let's say, 200 people. If they assumingly take 200 extra people because of those measures that have been put in place,
Okay.
what it means is that you, the person who has intervened on their behalf, you'll be, I think, if you were the one, Alpha, you were the one, would you allocate some of those 100 or 200 slots to me?
Reasonably.
Reasonably. So if that's the case, reasonably, the people of Asokwa would have about 100 slots or more for employment.
Okay. Now, the question I need to ask on that, though, is that you all know, or all of us know, that government is now in dire need of revenue. In fact, taxes is something that the government has really been working on to improve. Because according to government's estimation, our tax to GDP is around 13%. They are seeking to improve it to 17%. Now, if you're asking members of parliament to intervene so that companies may not offer or may not pay their taxes, don't you think in other way what you're doing is hurting government's ability to rake in revenue, which then means that the development that the people of Asokwa are expecting, they may not have it.
Okay. That is a very good and valid point. But then again, you and I both know that through the 1D1F initiative government brought about, the main idea was to enhance or promote companies to try and expand. So some of these companies were given a tax-free environment to, at least for a while, to try and get their feet on the ground. So based on that, let me put it this way, I'm not the final authority. But as I said, I was going to negotiate or plead on their behalf. And if possible, those companies, if there was somehow a way to make sure that the amnesty would be given, even if there was a 0.01% chance that it would happen, it will make it happen. If you don't ask for it, it will never happen.
So what you're asking is that you acknowledge the fact that there's an agency that is responsible for the collection of taxes, in this case GRA. But
Yes.
what you want your member of parliament to do for the companies is to intervene, to see if she can be able to convince GRA and all of those agencies to grant companies tax amnesty. That's what you're saying.
What I am saying is that the companies might or do have a problem. That tax issue was just one
Of the example.
possible
Okay.
example. So I was just trying to
do you
draw.
know that for a fact, or you think that could be a problem?
Oh, sometimes, me personally, I'm a problem solver. So
Or you must know the
sometimes-
problem to solve it.
Yes.
So do you know
exactly.
this is a problem in Asokwa?
Okay, I know, for instance, KBL. I didn't want to mention names, but that's why I made.
Or you can say a
hypothetical.
company you know. You can give us the details without mentioning the name. That's fine.
Okay. So let's say a company I know has a problem with its lease. And you and I both know that the lease is handled by our chiefs. And for that matter, Otumfo. If the lease, for some reason or the other, hasn't been paid, and because of that, a company has been shut down, the only way to at least re-engage that company would be through meeting with the chiefs and then finding a possible solution for that. Maybe the lease, for instance, I don't know the amount involved. Let's say it's 2 million Ghana cedis. If you meet as the member of parliament, I'm sure you and I both would agree that as a member of parliament, you have a level of authority, you have a level of respect, you have a level of honor. If you meet our king, Otumfo Osei-Tutu, I'm sure if you plead to him and saying that, Nana, you need your counsel, we would want to ask a favor of you. Maybe I've got some investors, maybe Alpha and Orange FM are interested in operating this company. But with all due respect, they don't have that 2 million cedis to give you as your lease. The lease is due you. With all due respect, it is due you. But because they don't have that outright money right now, Nana, with all due respect, I would serve as a guarantor. Maybe we'll pay that amount of money within 10 years. In installments, every year we'll give you maybe 200,000 cedis. Respectfully, do you think Otumfo might consider or not?
You said might consider.
Yes. He has the final authority. That's why I'm asking you, do you think he might consider?
Yeah, he might, or he might not.
That is very true. But then again, as I said, there's a probability.
Yeah.
So if the probability, without you asking, the probability will never materialize.
As far as you're aware,
yes,
did the member of parliament intervene in that circumstance?
I didn't.
Did the people engage her to say, okay, this is our problem, and intervene for us?
You see, sometimes it is true you are the member of parliament, but if you also don't come down to the people,
they may not be able to tell
you won't be able to tell their problems.
Okay, so what I hear you say is that you think that the companies we have in Asokwa, leadership has not been able to leverage on them to create opportunities for the constituents. That's what you seem to be saying, that you think that there's an opportunity to be harnessed.
Yes.
But we've not done enough in harnessing that opportunity.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the other thing I recall you say is that you feel that, of course, you believe that as a member of parliament, you should be able to more or less speak about the concerns of the constituency in parliament.
Yes.
To raise content.
That's true.
You feel that the current member of parliament have not done enough in that regard? Or she has not performed creditably in that respect?
Alpha, as I said, she's my mom.
Well, you're
As
contesting
much as-
against your mom.
Yes,
So
yes.
that-
but I
that-
would
that is
rather, I would rather prefer talking about what I would want to do or what I have done and what I intend to do.
No, you see, the premise
Do you get it?
the premise to this question is areas you think can be improved. So I am basing on that premise to be asking you this question. It's not as if I'm
Okay.
saying I'm asking it out of the blue. I'm saying that you have, because whether you like it or not, there is a current member of parliament. What you're seeking to do is to replace her. So whether you like it or not, the constituents must be convinced that you better serve their interests than the current member of parliament. So directly or indirectly, comparison will come up, whether you like it or not.
So you want... the
No, it's not like
comparison
I want, but I'm saying that you've talked about the areas you think can be improved, and I'm relying on that to be asking you those questions that you feel that Asokwa can better be represented in parliament. In other words, the concerns of Asokwa have not been amplified enough in parliament by the current member of parliament. That's something you believe in.
Yes, that's what I believe in.
What would you do differently in that regard?
Personally, you see, Alpha, this is a very awkward. I didn't want to say this, but the truth is, I hardly hear my member of parliament speak.
On the floor.
Yes.
Is that too necessary? Maybe she's raising the concerns at the committee level. Maybe she's engaging ministers for development to come to the constituency. You shouldn't be hearing her on the floor to know that she's working.
Even if that is what she's doing, it should be evident in other ways.
You think it's not?
It's not. But as I said, I'd prefer what I would do, if that would be fine. But you pushing me more towards her.
I'm not pushing you to her. I'm pushing you. Pushing you to you.
As I said, no. As for me, you see, me doing things differently.
Okay.
As I said, I have a lot of respect for her.
Okay.
I wouldn't say she hasn't done anything. But then again, we all know that no matter how you look at it, you say,
oh, okay.
You get it?
You see, so
based on that.
So in other words, you can better do these things.
I would better do it. And when my time is due, if I'm given the permission, like the opportunity to serve the people of Asokwa, they would then compare my deeds.
No, but they have to
what my predecessor did. If you compare Patricia to her predecessor, there are certain things Patricia might have done that are better than what Honorable Maxwell Kofi-Djuma did. But then again, there are certain things he did that are better than what she did. So if you compare or just say that we are just going to spend time on what she has done, I don't think it's the best.
Okay, let's.
You get where I'm coming from.
I'm getting your drift. So let's ask you. The people, I'm sure you listened to the report, right? The report before the composition. The people have raised a number of concerns. So let me ask you. First of all, some have raised issues to do with security.
Yeah.
You live in Ahinsan Estate.
Yes.
Have you, or are you aware that security in places like Ahinsan, Atonsu, is a problem?
Yes.
How do you intend to deal with it?
Thank you very much. I think Ahinsan Estate used to be a very notorious, like it was a ground for thieves, for that matter. So I, being a part of the constituents, I liaised with my assembly member, who happens to be Honorable Nana Yaw Boakye. We sat down, we realized that in order for our security to be better than it is, we need to lobby and build a police post within the electoral area, which we did. I contributed towards it through financial assistance, through other means, and then it materialized. Even with that, we realized that no, that wasn't just enough, because they would need motorbikes, they would need more personnel and all that. So we decided that for now, since we are not in authority for that matter, what we could do is to encourage volunteers. So the youth of Ahinsan Estate that we know, we would decide to employ them and make it our personal project to fund them. So we decided that, we had several meetings as stakeholders, that's homeowners there, and we decided that we would give out maybe 50 cedis a month per house to help purchase, feed them, clothe them, to improve the security of the estate. And I can tell you for a fact that now Ahinsan Estate is safer than it used to be.
Oh, I see.
This same concept would, if given the permission, be used in all the other areas. So that means that you'd have to set up volunteer services, which through trusted people of the community, of the constituents themselves, at various points, giving them walkie-talkies and things that you can use to communicate. and also involve the police. If possible, some areas, if you're able to put up a small police post, that would also help. Do you get it? So that would also enhance the security of some neighborhoods, and also the visibility. Indirectly, you'd have to light up the streets so that to the barest minimum, so that visibility would be enhanced. And then with the volunteer system and the police posts that we would try and create additionally to what we already have, I think the security issues would also.
Another concern that was raised is the issue of jobs. Do you think it's fair to expect a member of parliament to provide jobs for constituents?
I wouldn't say it's not fair, but then again, I think it can be done.
It can be done. Is it something you can do?
Okay, let me ask you a personal question, Alpha. Alpha, let's say, because I'm a medical doctor, I like equating things to the to the human body. Alpha, if as at now, I believe you are fine. You are.
I want to believe so.
You want to believe so. Okay. So, I'm sure you've had malaria before.
Yes, obviously.
Obviously, okay. So when you have malaria, before taking any drugs, how do you normally feel?
Oh, you feel feverish. You feel weak.
Weak.
You feel, yes.
Okay. So in some circumstances, you feel like you don't even want to get out of bed.
Of course.
Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, if by any chance, some of these companies are sick, they are not going to be able to function to their best abilities. Do you agree with me? If that is the case, Alpha, you being sick, I'm sure you can't perform your duties to the best of your ability. Is that not a fact?
It makes sense.
Okay. So, assuming, without admitting, that the companies of Asokwa are sick, or some of them are sick, in various forms, you can only find out what the problem is by asking the person what is wrong or what your challenges are for that matter.
But are they sick?
For instance, malaria, as you said, you don't feel to the best of your abilities. Then again, if you get a stroke, but with the malaria, people might not see, they might see you healthy, but you as the individual know that no, there's something wrong with you. But if someone gets a stroke,
it's evident.
It's evident. So if people have strokes, everybody knows, oh, there's something seriously wrong. But then if you have malaria, you might be going up and down, but you might not be at your best. Or in fact, it's not a matter of you might not be at your best. You won't be at your best.
So what is the state of companies in Asokwa? Are they on the stroke level or malaria level?
Oh, I believe some of them are on the malaria level and some of them are on the stroke level.
So those that are on the malaria level, what do you intend to do for them?
That's why I'm saying that, you know, for instance, let me put it this way. The malaria level, malaria for instance, the symptoms you mentioned, feverish, you being feverish, you being weak, you being lethargic, every medical personnel will tell you that we have differential diagnosis for that. With differential diagnosis, what it means is it could be different other diseases. But if, for instance, if it's respiratory tract infection, what it means is the treatment for that is different from the treatment of malaria. And the treatment of malaria is different from that of gastroenteritis. So based on what exactly is wrong with the patient, for that matter, the company as we speak, as at now, I don't have the power of an MP.
But do you know the problems? Because you want to become a member of parliament to solve problems.
Yes, you will have to solve the problem. But there are certain places you cannot go or cannot engage in your current capacity. As Alpha right now, as much as you can talk a lot, you don't have the power or the authority to enter some jurisdictions.
True.
So based on that, I as Dr. Nana Yaw Boakye, as I currently am, I can't just go to Ghana Guineas or Fun Ice or LL or Boast or any of the companies around and just bargain.
So, Doc,
what do you have as your challenge?
So, Doc, if delegates now ask you
Yes.
that jobs, we don't have jobs.
Yes.
We want to be sure that you can provide us jobs.
Yes.
What would you tell them?
Oh, I'll tell them that they should take their time, help me to become a member of parliament. As you see, okay, let me ask this question to you first before we continue.
Okay.
As I said, you don't have the power to enter some companies right now.
No.
So I also don't have that power. So now the question is, as an MP, if you were MP, do you think you'd still be saying that narrative or the narrative would change?
I think that even before I decide to become a member of parliament,
Okay.
I will try as much as I can to see if there is a problem to be solved and if I can solve that problem. And if I come to a conclusion that there is a problem to be solved and I can solve that problem, then I'll put myself up to say, okay, give me this position because I have a fair idea of what the problem is and how I will solve them.
Okay. So I understand where you're coming from. No, I'm not going to pretend as if I don't understand. But then again, we have something called capacity.
Okay.
So if you, as I said, as Alpha, you and I both know that, one, you don't have the authority. Neither do you have the capacity. But as a member of parliament, you and I both know that by that position, you'll be clothed with authority and capacity. Look,
but do you know that
I have a friend.
Okay.
He's a very good, he's like a brother to me. He works at the university.
Okay.
The two of us, like, we love Ghana. We love our country. We used to talk a lot. He is an IT analyst. I am a medical doctor. But Alpha, the truth is, we realized something. We realized that at the end of the day, no matter what good intentions you have as an individual, you don't have the capacity, you don't have the voice to even speak it out. So that is one of the reasons I even entered into politics. Because at the end of the day, if you have all those good ideas, but don't have a platform to implement it, to voice it out, to showcase it, unfortunately, it won't come to
Now, okay, let's assume that these are companies you can't interact with because you don't have the authority to do so.
Yes.
Let's assume. But do you know for a fact that employment is a problem in Asokwa?
I do.
Do you have a solution for it?
Yes, as I said.
What is the solution?
The solution is engaging. You know, let me put it this way. You know, earlier on in our conversation, I said something to you. I said, if you don't ask or you don't probe, you're never going to get an answer.
Okay.
But if you, for instance, if I get to know you today, Alpha, now maybe I have from henceforth, maybe I'm going to know you on a personal level. If I ask of something from you, it won't be just like a stranger walking in and then asking something of you.
Yeah, because if you established relationship,
Yes.
it makes sense. Yeah.
So if that is it, we go from stage 1 to stage 2. If the member of parliament of Asokwa could, excuse me to say, lower him or herself, interact with the companies, I'm sure the companies will open up knowing that the person is a member of parliament and can assist them in certain regards.
So, Doc, if the delegates say, we don't want you to do anything for us, just deal with the unemployment problem, would you tell them that, okay, I've heard you, but you need to give me the mandate first? so that in that capacity, I will be able to assess, interact with the stakeholders, and to now find solution for you. Would that be your answer to that?
No, that is just one aspect.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. Before even attempting, or let's say before assuming to contest for this position, enviable position, I personally, because I'm a medical practitioner, I have my own personal links and relations with principals of nursing institutions.
Oh, okay.
So I personally have been recruiting, or let me put it this way, assisting people to get admissions into the various nursing institutions.
Okay.
Thereby, even some of them have even come out and become nurses. So I think about 2 days ago, I was in a constituency campaigning, and out of the blue, someone saw me, one of the people I had helped, assisted to get employment. When she saw me, the way she ran towards me and hugged me, it's like she had seen her hero. At the time that I did that for her, I didn't know what I had done for her. But it's something that, at the end of the day, when she passes out, as a nurse, she will definitely get employment through the government or through even private institutions. Her job is already secured. I do that for a lot of people. I try, in my small way, guide people. I try mentoring them into different, into different courses that at the end of the day would also enhance their livelihood and then secure jobs for them. Personally, I am currently even at KNUST in my final year. I'm reading law in addition.
Oh, okay. Are you doing LLB now?
Yes, I'm doing LLB. Hopefully by the end of July, I'll be done.
You return to further in practice, hopefully.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm saying, that sometimes you have to build yourself up.
Oh, okay.
Because me knowing myself, I want to be the best that I can be. So although I'm a medical doctor, I didn't just say, oh, because I'm a medical doctor is enough. I can just go to parliament and be on the health committee or science committee. I decided that no, if I should be in parliament, representing my party, representing my country, I should be the best I can be.
Okay.
And that's why I enrolled myself into the LLB course.
Okay. Now, the final issue we'll deal with, the delegates are listening, I'm sure. Please, if you are listening to us, hopefully we'll be opening the phone lines for you to get the opportunity to ask your questions. And you can also send us your WhatsApp messages on 0548501584, 0548501584. But let's talk about the delegates, because this is a delegate election. The delegates want someone who can win the contest for them. We did an analysis of the votes parliamentary election in 2020 as compared to 2016. Mama Party in 2016 got around 83%. In 2020, it dropped to 60, I think it's 65 or so. But there was an independent candidate who contested, and he was an MPP person who defected, or who more or less contested as an independent candidate. The MPP want someone that can consolidate the vote for them. Are you that person? And what makes you that person that can maybe even increase the margins for them?
I would want to believe that I am that person. I believe that I am. Because of the existing relationship I have with them.
With the delegates?
With the delegates. This is because I treat the delegates, not only the delegates, even the constituents, as my family. They are people who have got to know me over the years. I just didn't appear this time around to contest. I've attempted before. That's 4 years ago.
That was
2020.
2020.
Yes.
Was that the reason why we're doing the medical outreach? You began, I think, 2018. There, about every now and then you do. Was it to prepare yourself for that?
Yes, and also to improve the health of both constituents and the delegates. You know, there's a saying that you can't give what you don't have. I am a medical doctor. I am a health practitioner. What is mine is theirs. So my level of education, my health, my expertise is theirs. So I interact with them at any opportunity I get. They call me when they have a problem, be it health-wise or other matters.
Okay.
But health-related, those ones I really do a lot. Because I belong to the medical fraternity, not just as a...
You are a family physician, right?
Yes.
Okay.
No, so not just that, but even if maybe someone gets a broken leg, because I have colleagues who are surgeons, trauma specialists, even if someone is pregnant and has some complications, I have colleagues who are ONG specialists, then I refer to. And they give the same respect to them that they give me, because I'm the one who referred them.
You think the relationship you've
built,
developed,
over the years, yes,
it will make you that person. So I think it would be unfair not to allow your constituents or listeners to also contribute. So if you are listening and you want to be part of it, there are two ways. You can send me a WhatsApp message on 0548 501 584, or you can give me a call on 0541 022 31822. I've seen a lot of huge billboards belonging to the aspirant. I just want to find out from him. This could be quite expensive. Can he share with us his source of funding for those huge billboards? Look, it looks as if someone is interested in your source of funds for the billboards across the constituency. Are you willing to share?
Oh, as public knowledge, I'm a medical doctor, and I can afford those.
How much is one billboard, by the way?
Oh, I think one billboard. Me, I have a personal relation with the people.
So you got it at a discounted price?
I got it at a discounted price.
Which was?
Which was about 1,500.
Oh, okay. Per month?
Yes, but as I said, and even the printing was about 1,500.
Oh, okay.
So basically, it's money, but then again, I've worked for how many years? Several years now.
Okay. This one says, my name is Kofi. I have heard that delegate elections are expensive. You have to pay your way out. Ask Doc, how much is he paying the delegates? Because without money, you should forget. Is that the reality, that you must pay, you must spend huge sums of money?
In a way, it's true. But then again, your relationship with them also counts. Some people...
Your relationship will ensure that they will reduce the price for you.
Oh, I wouldn't say they will reduce the price.
But it will not
No, you see, I don't know how to put this. Let me give you a classical example.
Okay.
Because I'm a true MPP person, I know I have access to certain information within some constituents. If you go to the recent Bantama elections, the person who wanted to, let's say, overthrow or replace Fifi, the constituency chairman.
Okay, the chairman, okay.
He paid a higher amount than Chairman Fifi.
But he
He's still lost.
Okay.
So as much as there's money involved,
Your
your
relationship
relation
also counts.
also counts. So
But-
you might not be able to match the person, but then at least if you give something respectable,
What is something respectable?
it depends, it varies. So for instance, assuming, without admitting, the certain member of parliament pays 200 cedis, and maybe you pay 50 cedis or 100 cedis, it's respectable to some of the people you've helped. For instance, if you've helped someone with maybe their ward, you've given, you've been able to get
Assist.
a nursing protocol slot for the person. That protocol slot might have cost about 5,000 or sometimes even more. But if you do it free for the person, and that day you get at least 50 cedis for the person, indirectly, if the person is supposed to think thoroughly about it, the person will say, oh, no, this is much more than what the person, in total, is more than what someone who is given 200 or 500 is given
On a particular day.
on a particular day.
Okay.
And sometimes even me being a doctor, maybe I have had the opportunity to serve my people, the delegates. Maybe some might have been on the verge of dying. And if for some reason or the other, through your intervention, the person doesn't die, the person will owe the life to you.
Okay.
And
But-
in that case, will be loyal to you.
Have you been surprised by the realities of politics, delegate
Oh,
elections,
I
the
have-
demands, the cost? Have you been surprised by these things?
Oh, I have been, it's not like I didn't expect it. So as much as I've been surprised, I think walking the talk is sometimes different. Yeah. So for instance, what I mean is, I think it's made me understand politicians more. Do you get it? But I still haven't lost my values
For
that
politics.
I came into politics with. Personally, when I was in medical school, my colleagues used to say this, or other people, my seniors used to say, oh, you can't be a medical doctor without drinking. You can't do this, you can't do that. But I'm one person who still doesn't drink. I don't take alcohol. So I'm someone who always wants to do or attempt the impossible.
Okay.
So I love challenges.
Will you win? Do you think you win?
By God's grace and by the hard work and with the support of the delegates, I am sure I will.
How many delegates do you think are in your corner, for instance? Like, because I want to believe that going into a contest like this, you have a fair idea of delegates that you can say, oh, ask for this number there. When push comes to shove, they will show up for me.
One thing I would want to do is to unite Asokwa. I would want to unite all the delegates. You see, we say breaking the eight, but breaking the eight is not that simple as some people just make it sound. You can't break the eight, you can't break the front of your opponents if your house you live in is already divided. They said a house that is divided will surely fall.
Because of time, let me allow you to convince the delegates. Why do you think they should vote for you on the 27th?
Because I believe I'm the only one who can unify both fronts.
You say both fronts, what do you mean?
This is an internal issue, but
There's division in the
there's
constituency.
division in the constituency.
Who are the blocks? Who are the factions? The MP on one side and who?
And my fellow brother who is also contesting.
Or the former communication
Yes.
director,
Yes.
Edmond something. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So on a daily basis, it's like our political platforms are a war zone. Yes. So I would plead with them that I would use this opportunity and this medium to plead with them that they should try and reduce the fire and the warfare going on. Because both sides will tell you that they would prefer, Mama Pat's camp will tell you that for the other one, for Edmond to come,
to win, and it's better
I win.
So you think
and
it's
Edmond's camp would also tell you that for the woman's camp to win, I should rather win. So indirectly, they are giving me half support already.
But you yourself, do you think you have enough support?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay.
Because none of my people insult anyone on the platform.
Okay.
My people always try. You see, it's a said that show me your friend and I'll show you your character. As a leader, I'm not someone who insults. I'm not someone who chastises people in public. I would rather call you one-on-one and tell you that, oh, my brother, this that you are doing won't augur well for all of us.
Okay.
So if you change your ways, it would help.
Because of time, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
It's been a wonderful conversation with you. He is an aspiring member seeking to become the parliamentary candidate for the Asokwa Constituency on the ticket of MPP, Dr. Francis Nana Yaw Boakye. He has laid down his vision plans and viewpoint regarding the constituency and, of course, politics and, of course, the party. I'm sure you will be the people that would say, I can see a lot of your messages, but of course, because of time, and I don't think I can pay calls again. But of course, I'm sure possibly this will not be the first time. Hopefully, maybe sometime we'll have to engage him on phone or something so that he will further explain his vision to us. But Doc, thank you very much for coming. We are indeed grateful for your time. That will be the show for today. It was produced by David Boakye. If you heard from Fatal Bayaga this morning, and Mapena as well as Rahim. My name has been Alpha Ali. For now, that's our show. Thank you very much.